Have you ever heard the expression, people do not care how much you know until they know how much you care? If you heard that expression, raise your hand. You know why that expression is so terrific? It's terrific because it's a simple truth. But see, that was all well and good when the expression came out by Napoleon Hill or Dale Carnegie or Brian Tracy or Zig Ziglar, whoever you want to quote it at the time. But see, we live in a different age today, a better expression, where people do not care how much you know until they feel how much you care. Whether it is trying to close a deal, whether it is talking to an existing customer, or whether it is talking as a supervisor to a colleague. The key is to get them to understand where you are coming from. So, what our goal is today is to understand leadership and to come up with a process. People have mentioned specific strategies. Now, one thing, I think it was it Mary who used the word? Who used the word trick? Somebody used the word trick. Was that Mary? Yeah, used the word trick. So one thing I would challenge you on, and by the way, it's very interactive, it's not meant to embarrass anybody. A better word than trick is an effective strategy. Because realize the words we use, especially how you communicate to these people, when you want to communicate on their level, to feel how much they care, versus just to tell them, I care, I'm listening. So just watch vocabulary. Because that's important, if you hear that. I mean, look, I'm the owner of a sales training company. I've been here for a half an hour. Let me ask you a question. Well, I'll give you the answer. I may not want to hear the answer. Somebody might ask, do you view me as a salesperson? Do you view me as the owner of a company? Do you view me as a consultant? Now, we all know together what's the difference between a salesperson, a consultant, the owner of a company. What's the answer? Let's say it together. Absolutely. Louder. Come on, let's do that. Absolutely. Absolutely nothing. It's all about perception, though. Somebody tells me I'm a sales guy, we know that's not a compliment. That is not a compliment. Owners of companies concerned, they're my clients especially. I certainly hope Peter viewed me as a consultant. I don't think he would have brought me in here instead if I was a sales guy, some charlatan or anything like that. So that's important. You want them to perceive you as a CEO, yes. Yet you also want to be able to do these three things. Jot these down. The key to leadership, you help them when they need it, you hold them accountable when they deserve it, and you praise them when they achieve it. Or a better way to phrase it is I say, there are three things that a leader is. Simple as this. A leader is a coach. A leader is a supervisor. And a leader is a motivator.
Great moments are born from great opportunity.
You shouldn't have any doubt in your mind about what you're supposed to do tonight and about how you're supposed to do it.
This is your time.
No, I don't want them to gain another yard.
We got to go out there and we got to take it.
You take their game and you shove it right back in their face.
So what we're going to do today is we're going to talk about a 5-step process on how best to be an effective leader. Not to jump ahead of a recognition. I mentioned that I was the kid that asked all the questions during the sales training. I was the MVP of a sales training in 1997. 150 salespeople in the course, and I was the MVP. And my manager bought me this bat. I still think this is the coolest thing. It has my name carved into it, and it says MVP July 1997 training class. Money is good, yet this is what I'm remembering. So I want to jump into an exercise here. I'd like you to pair off. Let's just go with the person who's next to you. Everybody stand up. Stand up. And what we're going to do is I want you to face your partner. I want you to physically change 3 things about you. Physically. I want you to turn back to back so nobody can see. So we're going to just take a minute here, change 3 things physically about yourself. And then when you're done with that, I want you to face your partner and then see if you can notice those 3 things that were changed. Okay, everybody should be done. Okay, face your partner. Okay, now, we're going to do a little bit of role play here. Just go through with each other and just point and go one at a time and see if you can notice the 3 things that were physically changed and tell them. Okay. Okay. Now I want everybody sit down. Everybody sit down. Okay. Now I need 2 volunteers, 2 brave, courageous, facilitating, vision, honesty, wisdom, caring, compassionate, and growing volunteers to come forward. And nobody should have changed back yet. Okay, so Lucas, okay, come on up. Okay. All right, stand right there. Don't stand in the lights. We can see you here. Whoop, come this side. Okay. Great. So now, let's pick out, you haven't changed back, right?
Correct.
Okay. So what are 3 things that Lucas has changed about himself? One thing. Did we miss one?
Watch off.
The watch is off. Okay.
Sleeves up.
Pull the sleeves up. What was the 3rd thing?
Putting your pen on your shirt.
Is she right? Okay. All right. Good. Good. Second volunteer. Okay. So 3 things that Julia's changed.
Loosen his tie.
Oh, that's a good one. What was that?
No glasses.
No glasses.
Can you take your jacket off?
All right. Very nice. Very nice. Round of applause. So let me ask you a question. What do you think about that exercise? Have you ever done that kind of exercise before? Why do they do that? Luke?
Perception or observance.
Perception. Mark?
Observing more, looking closer.
2 reasons. Absolutely perception, looking more, and also think about, even though it's really minor changes, who here feels super duper comfortable right now? Who here feels a little bit uncomfortable? Come on, be honest. I just made you change things by yourself. You're going to feel a little bit uncomfortable. So think about that with your employees. Think about that. Think about 2 things. Think about how small that change was and how much that small change made you a tad uncomfortable and how much you might not even notice those small changes. And think about how effective it would be if you did notice those small changes in the younger generation employees. It makes a difference. It makes a big difference. People do respect honesty. They do. Has anybody ever had an employee who they worked for, or, even though we're all business owners, we all worked for somebody at one time, I assume, we worked for somebody who went to the other extreme and only complimented you, nothing else? Has anybody ever had that? Was that a good thing or a bad thing that they only complimented you? They never criticized you. Was that a good thing or a bad thing?
Bad thing.
Exactly. A good example is in the first life, someone might ask, how did the author part come about? I was a newspaper reporter for 5 years. Never forget, I was a staff writer in Chicago, maybe from the Chicago Daily Herald, big suburban daily paper. And I had an editor who I could do no wrong in this editor's eyes. She just complimented me left and right. The problem was, though, his account in this great article, then I see the article in the paper, and I have no idea who wrote it. So let me get this straight. I had a great article that you then butchered, changed left and right, and I don't even know why my name's on the article. So that was even a sillier scenario because he was blowing smoke, but I knew he was blowing smoke because the minute the article came out, it wasn't recognized. So think about that. Because the number 1 complaint when it comes to not fulfilling expectations, right, is I didn't know. Email, jot this down, please. Email is to be used as a form of marketing and accountability, never conversation.